everyone. Welcome to the virtual conversation by VA Africa. Today, I'm your host, Stella. I'm the founder of VA Africa and the CEO of Stella Projects. And I'm very excited to have a special guest today. Her name is Nancy, and she'll be talking to us about her experience working in a virtual team. As you know, there are some people who are employed, but they have been asked to work from home. So I'm sure you're going to be excited. You're going to learn a lot. I welcome you to the show, and I ask you to please grab a pen and a paper because there's a lot to learn. So I welcome my guest, Nancy. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Stella, for introducing this topic or this today's conversation. My name is Nancy Wairimu, and I work at Somersault as an editor. And today I'm happy to be here as a guest and to talk about working remotely and my experiences and how far, and also what are my challenges. And I'm so excited and I'm looking forward to have a great conversation with you. And I welcome all of you to this great conversation. Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy. But to start us off, we met in Virtual Assistant Africa Facebook group. Maybe you can tell us what made you join the group.
Thank you for that. What made me join Virtual Africa group? It's because I saw the need because I was working at home and I needed to improve on my skills in terms of communication and also have a full understanding on how working remotely operates. And because I didn't have an idea, I've never worked from home before. So I needed to know what exactly happens there. So my main aim of joining that group was to really open my mind and get to learn more. And also to meet with other virtual assistants and get to hear their experiences, their challenges, and how they're progressing. Yes.
Oh, that's very useful information. And I'm curious to know, you said you've never worked before in a virtual team. So how did you find yourself in this situation? How did you become someone who works from home? Are you employed?
Yeah. I have never worked from home, yes. I've always had people doing working from home, and this mostly are the freelancers. But for the first time, the reason why I started working from home or working remotely is because of the pandemic that we all know is affecting the country worldwide. And I saw when we were being transitioned from working in the office to working at home, that's when I actually joined Virtual Africa and Virtual to know also more about virtual assistants. So yes, it's been a good experience. It's been a good journey. And our bosses saw the need of us working from home because it was not health-wise, it was not safe for us to work in the office. And so they felt it's okay for us to work from home. And so far so good. It's moving smoothly. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. Most of us, especially in Africa, are used to the normal traditional office where we report to work on an 8 to 5 kind of role. But for you, tell us, what is your virtual role? What do you do from home exactly? What's your job description? Did it change from the 8 to 5 job, or what is different?
Well, a lot of things changed. Number one is working from home, you get to be your own manager. You get to manage your own time. And not only just managing your own time, you also get to understand your body, because sometimes you need this energy to work. And so you know when your energies are low, when your energies are high, and you can literally make a decision now in terms of choosing what time works well for you. And so for me, it hasn't changed as much, but I'm very good at working in the morning. I'm a morning person. So I try and wake up very early in the morning, prepare myself, put everything in order, and then start working. So by 2 p.m. I'm done working, I'm signing off.
Wow.
So few things have changed. Another thing that has changed is now you're not being micromanaged. So what happens is I have downloaded an app. It's called Clockify. What Clockify does, it actually tracks the time you're working. So for you to actually know if you are active, productive, and your quality is on point, I put on my Clockify, and then it just tells me if I'm working from 4 to midday, it actually counts the hours I've worked. And it tells me if I've taken a break in between. I indicate I'm taking a break. If I'm having a time to stretch, I indicate there I'm taking time to stretch. So it's really working well for me. So nothing much has changed. But you get to be your own boss. You get to manage your own work. You get to understand what responsibility is. You get to understand the difference between your workplace and managing these other things, the distractions that come around. Probably you have kids, maybe you have family members, maybe you have friends, neighbors who would like to visit during the day. So you also know how to balance all these things all together. So it brings a lot of you knowing and understanding what responsibility is. Because at the end of the day, you have to be productive. You have to give the best quality. You have to, your attendance has to be 100%. So planning yourself also, it's very important. Yeah.
Those are some very good tips. Thanks for that. And I'm wondering, you didn't mention about the temptation to watch TV or to eat food more. Are you more, do you do that more now? Or are you that disciplined?
I know. And one of the things I'm trying to do is try to create a work environment, as much as I'm sharing, I'm in the house, and have to remind myself that being in the house, there's so many temptations that come along, like the way I told you earlier. Your friends want to visit, your neighbors want to show up, there's those family members who just come like, hey, you're here, open the gate. So one thing that I do is I try to, like, I talked about the Clockify thing. So I put timings. I say if I'm working for the first 3 hours, I take a break of 30 minutes or 1 hour. I go take a snack, I grab a glass of water, or just stretch, or stand at the balcony, get some sunlight, and then just planning myself properly. Of course, there's that intention. You want to eat, you want to make phone calls, you want to be on WhatsApp, see what your friends are saying, be on Facebook, see what people are posting. But at the same time, at the back of your mind, you have to remind yourself that it's I've planned myself this way, so I can't just veer off from what I'm doing. If either way I was in the office, this is what would be required of me. So I can't just make decisions out of nowhere. So I tend to have plans in my head and make decisions from those plans. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite amazing. And if I may ask, how did the transition happen? Did your company always have systems for collaborating with other team members, or do you have CCTV aside from Clockify, or were you given computers, or were you told to work with your own laptops? What happened exactly? How did the office shift from the brick and mortar to home? And then internet connection.
Okay. So when before we left the office, there are things that were put in place. Number one, we had to go through training, because not everyone understand what working virtually means or working remotely means. So we had to go through a training, so that in case you experience a machine breakdown or something decides not to work, you actually, maybe something you don't need an IT assistant, you can fix it by yourself. So we had to go through a training. Number two, you were given machines to work with, and the machine came with full package. Everything was installed in the machines that we needed. We were given the mouse, the charger. So they made sure you have the whole thing so that you don't get in the house and you don't have a charger, or you don't have a mouse, or you don't have a mouse pad. So everything was provided. Another thing is we were also made to understand that these are your responsibility as a person, or these are the things that you should put into consideration when working at home. Like nothing much has changed. Working in the office is just that your managers are sitting around, your managers are walking around, or you have as many meetings as you've been having in the office. But this time around, you're going home, you're working in your own office at home. So they made sure that they've taken us through everything for us to actually understand what it means to work at home and what it means to manage your own time and produce the best. So another thing that was done, and I felt it was very important, is they made sure every person, they get to install internet in everyone's house. So what happens, before end month, you send an invoice and your payment is updated, and then you don't experience power outage, or you don't experience internet downtime. So they felt like if they're gonna leave us to use our own internet, it will be a bit, you know, it will be a bit destructive, because they wanted something comfortable and something stable. So yes, every month it's paid for, and our work is just to work and produce the best. Yeah.
Wow, that's very, very insightful. And I'm curious to know, what about client confidential information or company sensitive information? Are you still allowed to access that from the house, or what changes?
Again, remember when you're employed, there's non-disclosure documents that you get to sign, and also you get to sign your contract. And when you read it through very carefully, you realize there are important information in those documents that you need to capture very well. So when you're given work, or when you're given these machines to work with them home and work at home, it means you know exactly which information you can disclose and which information you can only keep for yourself and the company. So you try as much as possible. Of course, this information has they've been installed. We have them with us, but now it's up to you to know. And you can't just risk and give out information to any person or share information with anyone, because again, you have something that binds you. And these are these documents: the non-disclosure document and your contract. Yeah.
That's very useful information, because I'm sure some of us want to be employers and want to have virtual teams. So it's good to know that it's possible to share confidential information, but have your team at least sign an NDA to safeguard yourself. And you mentioned about Clockify. That monitors the time you have started working and the time you have stopped working. Is there any other system that you're currently using to deliver the work? Or how is the supervisor also, or the manager, how are they able to monitor your work and be able to tell that, and be able to measure what you have done for the day?
Wow, thank you. We also have other softwares that have been installed in our machines. We have something called Time Doctor. What Time Doctor does, it has a place where it captures what is happening on your screen. So my manager is able to see what I'm doing. If at all they realize I'm not performing very well, or my quality is not at par, or my productivities are low, or my attendance is not as we agreed, they will go back to that software. They actually pull it out, because it has my name on it, or it's attached to my email. So once they pull that information out, they'll be able to know what does Nancy do during the day. Is she concentrating? How many times has she taken a break? and if she's taking a break, for how long, and what other activities is she doing, what other things are running in her machine. So they are able to track everything. And so what we do, even us when we're working at home, we try to win our managers, trust. Because when you start doing something that is not related, work related, then you're causing them to go and check, what is this person up to? Why is she not performing? In the office, she was doing very well. In fact, she was getting awards. She was doing perfectly well. Why now? Why is she not performing now? And she has not communicated about any power outage or any internet downtime. So that makes them go back and pull that information. So that also, it's very important. They're able to see what you're doing. And also at the end of the day, we write reports. You have to write a report to say what you've been doing, and indicate there. If told you're on leave, just leave the blank page and say, I was on leave, I was not able to work. And if you're present, then you say, what have you worked? What are some of the things that you've achieved that day, so that they are able to also update on their side. Another thing we have, there's a very special document that we do sign. It's called a sign. We have a sign-in document and a sign-out document.
What is
So
that?
a sign-in document, you sign in when you're starting your shift. So let's say you started a shift at 4 a.m. So there's a place you put your full names, your employee's number, and then time that you signed in, and then you submit. It reads directly on their side that this person has started their shift. Again, when you're signing out, you indicate your name, and also we are provided with spaces where you're able to say if you experience internet downtime, if you had a long meeting that probably will affect your productivity, you indicate that we had a 30 minutes meeting, so that 30 minutes will actually be deducted on your daily hours. So, and then you can also indicate you experience power outage. So you indicate there how many minutes, like how many hours, like maybe you had a power outage for like 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes. You indicate there, so that that hour is either deducted from the daily hours, or you'll be advised the way forward. Or either way, you can decide to work on those hours much later. So yeah, that has worked really well for us. And also for accountability purposes, it's there to just know if someone is on shift, if someone is working. Yes.
VA Tribe, I hope you are learning, and I hope you're taking down some notes, yeah, because this is very, very exciting. And I'm curious to know about your colleagues. How do you interact with your colleagues? You know, I believe you are in a department. So are you still talking to one another? Do you do any form of meetings as a department? What happens?
Okay. Of course, you miss your colleagues. Is that, and I think this is a disadvantage of working remotely. There's those time you feel lonely because you're lacking that friendship moments, and that time when you just want to turn to your neighbor and like chat a little and discuss something. And of course, there are those moments you feel lonely. But how we communicate, we usually have a Zoom running the whole day. So we call it a Zoom room. It runs the whole day. So it's just open. So we just join the Zoom and then we mute and we hide our faces. But we keep talking during the day. So someone just pops in and says, hey guys, I'm sleepy. And then someone else comes in and say, hey, hi guys, we need to stretch. And yeah, we keep talking. And also, as a team, we've come up with a very interesting idea, and it is really, really working well for me. So we make sure on Thursday we play a game just to make us feel, yeah, we play a game just to chemusha bongo. And then on Fridays, we have guys taking us through gym work. So those guys who love going for gym and doing stretching and doing all these other activities just to make your body fit. So it happens every Friday, and we have a trainer, and actually it's one of us. That's the most
Wow.
interesting thing. So yeah, they share a link and we all join on Friday evening. Like yesterday, we wear shorts and you're just running in the house, and it's happening virtually. It's fun, and you get to interact, and you get to see your friends, and you get to see who is growing fat, who is growing thin. It's actually fun. So, and then yeah, we are enjoying those moments. Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's a
how
lot
we
of
actually
fun.
talk.
Incorporated
Yeah.
work. What kind of
Yeah.
games do you play? How do you play virtual games exactly?
So virtual games happens. It's just like how do I call it? Like someone comes up with an idea, or maybe says maybe how do you spell this? So you have to spell a very long name, like very fast. So people laugh at you, people comment, and then we create teams. We have teams, like we have a team of 7 people, 7 people, 7 people. So a team that wins actually get a prize, and a team that wins get a point. So it becomes very competitive. You're asked to say maybe name of cities. You have to mention them very fast. You have to mention name of countries starting with the letter M. You have to be asked to mention names of animals living in a sea. So you have to be very fast. And the more you answer, and then there's a timer. So the more you answer, the more you get more points. And at the end of it, you get a prize. And that makes people active. And you always want your team to win. So you every other time you join to make sure your team don't lose. Yeah.
Wow, that is a unique angle that I've never thought of from the virtual team. I think I should try that with VA Africa. Maybe we do a hangout day or a fun games day and just connect and network. And in terms of pay, are you paid less because you don't go to the office? And or what happens? Are you treated as the normal employee you once were? Do you still have those benefits?
Yes, we are still paid are normal, like any other employee, just like the way you used to work back in the office. You get your salary as normal. You also get to get all your benefits. Medical card is still working very well. If told you feel sick or you want to go for maternity leave, you still get those leaves to go. If you want to go for sabbatical leave, you get to go for sabbatical leave. If you have an exam, maybe you're doing it online and you need time to read and catch up with other students, you also get to apply for that leave. It's called study leave. We also get to go for sick leave if you're feeling unwell or you're tired, you feel you need rest. You can also apply for leave. So everything actually functions as it used to back in the office. So nothing has changed. It's just that we are not moving much, but everything is just working well as before.
So you're like mini branches of your organization in different areas.
Yes, like we have the Udhiru one, we have the I don't know, South B one, we have the
Yeah,
Umoja one. Yeah.
expanded. Yeah, the
Yeah.
company has expanded. So then it sounds like it's a lot of fun. What do you have any challenges?
Yes, we do. We do have challenges. And one of the challenges, actually one of the main challenges, is communication. You'd find maybe working communicating virtually, or communicating when you're online, it's not as that which you're one-on-one, you can talk and understand each other better. But this time around, you have to call this person, you have to organize for a Zoom meeting and talk, and people get to connect or to get information differently. So it's a bit tricky in terms of communication. So you have to be very specific when you're communicating something to the employees. If you miss a point, you actually everything just go down. So you have to be very specific when communicating, and you have to be straight to the point. Don't beat around the bush, because some people don't like stories. They just want you to say the thing. So yeah, communication is one of the main problem that you're facing. Another problem that we do face is technology hiccups. So you find like you wake up in the morning and you realize you don't have power. So you can't communicate to anyone to actually let them know that you'll be off from work or you'll be late from work, because you don't know what time the power will come back. So that's another challenge. Another challenge that you get to experience also is because when the internet, when the power goes, the internet also automatically goes off, so you don't get to work at all. Another uh, struggle that we go through, or another thing that we try to put into place to make sure that we are working well. And this is now the loneliness part, because it's a challenge, because you just want to see your friends, or you feel lonely, you feel I miss those friends that you used to laugh at the toilet sometime, and in the meeting, you look at each other in the boardroom and you want to laugh about something. So you miss those moments. Working at home alone, you don't experience such things. So yeah, those are, I think, a few things that we get to face as challenges. Yeah.
What about
and also just sorry, let me add something. And also time difference, because bosses are not working, they're not Kenyans, and they are working from abroad. So you find we have time difference. So sometimes they will want to communicate, and that's the time maybe Kenyans we are going to sleep. So that means we have to stay awake, wait for them to communicate, or they have to wake up very early, or wake up during the day in their country, and us maybe we are in the middle of the night, so we have to adjust to time also. Yeah, so they try and adjust on their side, we also try and adjust on our side to meet somewhere so that communication can be effective. Yeah.
And does it mean that when you have the time difference, do you have the flexibility of dressing down, or do you have to dress up in your corporate look because your boss is there, because the department is there, or can you actually work with your pajamas?
Well, the other good thing with where I work is we do smart casual, so it's never that serious that you have to wear a suit and a tie and look, I don't know, perfect. But of course, you want to look good in a camera. Of course, you want to look okay. You don't want to just look shaggy. So there's not much of dress down per se, but just being smartly dressed. Yeah.
And what are some of the other advantages of working virtually? What's a good side?
Wow. I think the good side for me, it's been there's less commuting to work. I don't get to go to work. The less movements. Yeah, so I don't get to go to work every day. I'm just working in the house, so less movements. Another thing is I spend less. So the money that I'm supposed to use for fare and lunch at work, I can channel it to another thing, so I don't get to spend a lot. Also, working from home, you get to organize yourself better, because you're not working in a timeline your boss is telling you have to be here at 8 and leave here at 5. So you just have to organize yourself and know how you can fix your time and work around it. Another thing is, I've talked about money saving, and mostly I'm talking about those people who maybe they use cars to travel around, so you don't get to fuel your car, you don't get to service your car regularly as you used to, you don't get to pay for parking. Because you channel this money to some other things that you do. Yeah.
So for you, would you, when things go back to normal and the pandemic is over, would you still want to work virtually, or would you rather go to the office any day?
For the 100th time, I'd like to work from home forever. I want to work from home.
Virtually is the new way.
Yes, it's fun. It's very fun. And you have to thinking of how stressful it gets when you have to wake up very early in the morning. I don't know, go wait for matatus, or if you're driving, you have to, I know, sumbuana in traffic. Those other stresses you just put aside, and you wake up and you just wash your face, brush your teeth, and stay in the house. So me, I prefer working at home 100%. Yes.
I mean, support 1,000,000%. Let's go virtual. Let's embrace this. It's the new future. And that's why, as VA Africa, we bring you a lot of insight so that we empower you here and even as you start, and also beyond the start. So, lastly, you talked about some training. Your company seems to have adjusted very well. Had you foreseen this pandemic, or how long was the training? Was it done by an external organization, or is it the internal team that very quickly came up and thought about how to train the team to work virtually? Because it seems very seamless, that transition.
Yes, the transition was very smooth for us. It was not hectic. No one actually, very 99%, it was very smooth. Yes, we had people before, when the pandemic was just starting, during that month, I think it was March, early March. I think the organization had already put things in place, and they had already strategized on how they're going to handle if things don't go back to normal. And so by the time we were moving to working from home, everything was actually planned very well. So we had our first training in the office. At that time, things were not as bad, and the country was not, it was still functioning well. People were still moving around. Those are the first few weeks of March. So we had a training, a 2 weeks training. And then after that, we moved now working at home. And then we had a virtual training now for a week, just to make sure everyone is at par with what is required of us. And after we did that 1 week interview, everyone was actually, everyone was working well, and nothing, no challenges, not experience much. Yeah.
But the team that was training was internal, or you hired another team?
No, we've been trained by an internal team. Yeah, and also we've had our own managers, our team leaders, our account managers working closely with us. They made sure that in every group, every WhatsApp group, every Zoom meeting that we get to have, they're in there trying to encourage everyone, motivate everyone, work with everyone. If you're going through a staff or a season or a bad experience, they get to work with you. So they've been there full time. So I'd say, yeah, for us, they were fully prepared for this. Yeah.
And well done, Summer Sauce, for being agile and embracing change very fast. We need to emulate such companies and such employees who learn quickly and adapt to change. So, Nancy, what's your parting shot? Do you have any advice for us as VA Africa and the other listeners that are listening?
Maybe I'll just say, when you're working remotely, try and plan yourself very well. Manage your time, not just your time, also know your body very well to know when you can actually be very productive and when you are tired, so that you also know how long you can, sit and work for that day. Another thing is try and separate workplace and home, because working from home, your office and your home are in the same place. So try and separate workplace and office. That way you will know. Try and create like a place where it looks like an office. You set a table, put a chair there, arrange your machines, arrange your books there, so that it looks like an office. It reminds you, Manze, I have an office and I have to work in this office. So you try and separate the two. Another thing, if you have, let's say you have small kids, and kids don't they see you and they don't understand that you're working and it's your time to play and have fun and joke and call you mom and call you dad. So also create that time. Talk to your kids if you need to, make them understand that mom is working, dad is working, or if at all they're your siblings, let them know your auntie or your sister is working. So this is quiet time for your auntie to work and concentrate. Another thing also, communicate to your family, communicate to your friends so they know when to visit, not just to show up. Because sometimes people don't understand the intensity of what you're doing. So you're the only one who feels it. And when someone comes in, you have to, divide attention between work and this person that is visiting. So know, also communicate to people, let them know during the week from this time to this time, I'm very busy working, I'm working on A, B, C, and D, so I'll not be able to see anyone. Let's organize and arrange some other time. So communicate as much as you can. Another thing is also put everything in place and make sure at the end of the day when you're working, try and do, and especially the first few weeks, try and do a comparison. How was I performing when I was working in the office, and how am I performing now when I'm working remotely? Do a survey for yourself. Do a comparison and see how was my quality in the office and how is my quality now working remotely. How was my productivity? How am I producing now? How was my attendance in terms of hours? Am I achieving the hours that I used to achieve? Let's say you're supposed to work 8 hours a day, and at the end of the week you need to have produced 45 hours. Are you achieving that? Is anything difference? Can you identify any loopholes that you can actually work on them and fix things before it gets out of hand? So just look at things, how things are working, and also don't plan yourself, like use the Clockify, the one I mentioned. It gives you you don't have to sit the whole day and get tired. Sometimes when you're tired you can get crampy, and you just want to throw words at people because you're tired, you're trying to fix things. So use a Clockify to notify yourself it's time to have breakfast, it's time to have a break, it's time to have lunch, it's 4 p.m. I need to be here, and at least you've balanced now work and home. And lastly, also, you need to look out for your health. Look out for your health. It's very important. Sometimes you need to take a walk. Sometimes you need to go to a gym. Sometimes you need to get sunlight. And you also have the social life. So how do you balance all these things? So try and work around all these things. Don't just sit there the whole time and be like, I have to be productive. I have to produce the best. I have to be the best. Plan yourself very well. Yes.
Wow. I have learned so much. This was such an informative session. In fact, it's a virtual assistant 101. Hey, foundation, and now I think I have a degree in it. Thank you so much, Nancy, for sharing your experience, for opening up about your job to us. We really appreciate your time. We really appreciate the invaluable knowledge that you have passed on to us. And I believe if we take these tips, we will definitely benefit and grow as virtual assistants. The session is over. We thank you so much for taking time to even just listen to us. This will be posted in our virtual assistant group and also in our podcast. Feel free to like, to share, and also to listen to our past podcasts only at the virtual conversation. So we thank you and goodbye. Bye, Nancy.
Bye.